Hello, and welcome to this episode of Break Even by Breakfast with me, Mark Sweetman. And I'm delighted to be joined by Sohini Day, CEO and founder of Empeal. Sohini, how are you?
Hi, Mark. How are you?
How are you during this lockdown period?
Oh, yeah, it's challenging times, but a lot of a time for a lot of introspection and trying to kind of build your business model. Pivot is the most overused term at the moment. So pivoting your
Yeah,
business model, your business, your way of working, so markets, everything. Yeah.
yeah, we should probably dive into that actually if you have an interesting pivot, because I've seen so many companies do interesting pivots in the last 2 months. It's really interesting. But
Yeah.
Shahini, I've been hearing more and more about Empeal, and I think it's really fascinating what you're doing in the space. And I've heard that you're trying to create a new AAS, Wellness as a Service. But for those who haven't heard about your company so far, would you be able to give a brief introduction of yourself and Empeal?
Yeah. So Empeal provides a digital health tool. It's mainly a health risk management tool, and we particularly focus on prevention and management of chronic conditions. Whom do we sell to? So if you look at chronic conditions where they're most prevalent, looking at the lifestyle and also the habits and everything, it's mainly we're targeting the corporate market first. But Empeal has Empeal platform actually is now servicing both the health services as well as the corporate market. So within the health services, it's the health clinics and stuff, and then within the corporate market, we have identified particular sectors where chronic conditions are impacting productivity, particularly in, say, high stress scenario, or where key employees are performance is related to the company's overall revenue and bottom line as well.
That's great. And is it essentially you're trying to get it, like you're trying to make companies get a sense of how well their staff are, basically, how healthy they are from a wellness point of view?
Yeah, wellness is a very overused
Hmm.
term, I would say, and so we kind of stay away from the word wellness.
Okay.
Although we are kind of, when we are going to the corporate market, not the health market, but the corporate market, we are kind of clubbed together with the wellness providers. Now, in fairness, our competition and everybody has done a great job in terms of increasing the awareness in that sector hugely. So companies are really looking for employee well-being solutions, but we would be more health focused. So imagine somebody coming into work not feeling well. When I was working in the investments, I worked in the 22 years in investments, and what I have seen through various sectors, that people would come into work day in, day out with some kind of chronic issues. I personally had a lot of chronic issues, and I'm not giving my 100%. I cannot perform to my 100%. We are actually delving down deep into those areas and trying to actually help people improve those chronic conditions so that they actually are physically and mentally fit to be 100% productive.
Okay, great.
So that's how we are a little bit different to wellness.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, and then just to move on to the business itself and how you took it from a startup to where it is today. How is the business going so far? Are you on track, or is there some, like we said earlier, pivots that need to be made this year specifically, or were you flying ahead with it before coronavirus happened or whatever?
We were actually flying. We had a few very big projects, pipeline projects, to start from March, international projects to start from March, and we were well ahead of our targets, revenue targets. However, March hit, COVID and everything. So our projects got delayed. Now, good news is they're not cancelled, definitely, because
Touch
everybody
wood.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Yeah.
But that comes with challenges as well, because in that case, you are actually, you have to kind of keep the team in place, the product in place,
Yeah.
so that when those projects come on board, you are actually ready to go,
Okay.
So that's a challenge, but also that actually shows us what COVID showed us in terms of our digital health platform is that there is definitely requirement for remote solutions.
Yes.
Not only in the health sector, but also in the corporate sector.
Yeah.
And
I think that's going to be a mainstay after this anyway. There's going to be a lot more remote services and working practices. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why if you look at the Empeal platform, we basically, and you strip down to what basically we do, it's remote assessment, remote consultation, remote monitoring of health markers, and remote solution delivery. And all these four are encompassed with continuous analytics to show you the continuous improvement. So everything is online, everything is remote. And that's what we are hearing from both our sectors, health and corporate, that there is a requirement for that.
And
so
that's great for your business model too, in the sense that it's not massively impacted. Like you can still work, presumably your team can still work in the conditions because you are remote from day one. So you're kind of okay, you're safe enough in that regard. So
exactly.
do you think then it's going to be a case for you that like COVID-19 doesn't mean you have to pivot your business model? It's going to be more of a just delay, make your own processes sound, and then carry on hopefully as normal in a few months' time. Carry on, well, not as normal, but definitely on the same path you were beforehand.
Yeah, on the same path, but also what has happened with COVID-19 is we have found new sectors, new target markets.
Okay.
If I could say that, so that was a little bit of pivot in terms of finding the new target market there, and it just came up automatically because of the remote health solution issues. But also, you do have to change your business model as well, because you can't stand still, because we were going into revenue generation and serious revenue generation. But when that is delayed, we are now delayed by at least 6 to 8 months now with our targets, if everything goes well. So you can't afford, and then for a startup, any milestone is related to investments, next round of investment. Yeah, so you cannot sit there and say, okay, my milestones are 6 months delayed, so I have to wait for 6 months.
The expenses don't wait either.
Exactly.
They don't pause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you need to pivot your business model as well. So we didn't have a freemium model before, whereas we have come up with a freemium model. Now that also shows the depth of our solution and the technology we have, so we can afford to give away stuff for free, which our competition is charging for. So that's a big pivot we have done.
Yeah, and that gives you an edge. So you hopefully will get more sales than you even anticipated. Hopefully. That will be a good result. Just to take it away from coronavirus itself, in general terms, over the last number of years that you've been building your business, what has been the most challenging non-financial aspect of creating your business? Is it HR? Is it the team? I think everyone always goes to that. Yeah.
Very, very difficult. Like I started it on my own. We had one person, that was me.
Okay.
And then our co-founder, sorry?
I thought it was a husband-wife team, but was Ari joined later, obviously, yeah.
Ari only joined November 2019.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so he only joined when we knew that, okay, we are all going full steam now, you know?
Yeah.
So that was very timely, but then we never forecasted COVID, but hopefully we will survive this, and we are we are all like a horse with blinkers. We just want to survive these critical months and then be ready on the other side to take off. But so building the team was really, really difficult. But I'm really glad now, since November, Harry came in and there were a few more people who joined, and now we are really happy with the team, and fingers crossed, hopefully we will.
Great. How big is the team at the moment?
We have 5 of us here in Ireland, and we have about 3 people in India.
Okay, wow. That's so it's getting a lot bigger,
Since we last spoke,
I checked out your website, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that the About Us page had loads of people, and I was like, that's always a good sign when you see that. That's actually a really good metric to see how well a company is doing, how many staff they have. Although not obviously completely necessary or indicative of anything else, but it is always a good, healthy indicator. Okay, to move on to financial aspect. So what was the most challenging financial aspect of building your company?
Accessing funds, yes, definitely. But you know what? I think that was, if an entrepreneur is cautious enough in terms of getting feedback on the business and setting milestones based on those feedback from mentors, from experts. What I did was I actually applied to every single possible grants and investments that was available. And I even applied when I knew that I won't get it. But I applied to get feedback. And I actually...
that's actually very, very good advice, though. That's great, because first of all, you're practicing your application skills, which God knows you need in the startup world. To get feedback, like you're applying knowing that you're not going to get money, but you will get something back. So that's good advice.
Even today, if I'm applying for a tender, we did one very big one recently, and if I don't get it, I know I'll go back for feedback and understand where I didn't score marks. So that feedback is very important. And then listening to those feedback, setting your milestones. And every time you're applying for the next one, you see whether you've reached that milestone or not. And ultimately, if you do, you will get through some investments. And we have raised over $500,000 till now. And that was the only way we could do it.
And that you were awarded HBSU. Congratulations on that. Did you also get CSF, or was?
We did get CSF, but we didn't take the CSF because by that time we already closed an investor, and the valuation was higher than CSF.
Okay.
So we went straight for HBSU.
Okay, that makes sense.
But thankfully we got NDRC and CSF at the same time. So we took the NDRC, and for EI we went for the HBSU.
Oh, great. And is the NDRC course finished now, or are you still working on it? Yeah. Okay. And how did you find that?
But they're on your cap table, so they're actually quite hands-on,
Yeah, I know, because I know they have a sort of accelerator program that lasts about 6 months. And that you've obviously gone through that accelerator program. How did you find NDRC? Were they
very intense?
Was it intense? Yeah. Okay.
Very
intense. Is it the Irish version of startup school, basically, or Y Combinator?
Yeah. It is, but it's good. I would say the two programs I did, the New Frontiers and the NDRC, they came at the right time for me. We got the New Frontiers when we needed that level of help, and then the next level was NDRC. So both of them actually helped progress the company.
What was the main aim of the NDRC program to increase sales? Was it sort of like you had the product ready and it's now time to get selling, basically, or was it more about product development?
No, our product development, we did that with a lot of pilots and stuff. Now the product will never stop. It will always.
No, of course, yeah.
But it was mainly your value proposition and finding your product market fit, not the product market fit, but finding that niche market. So we're still trying to find. I think it's an ongoing process anyway.
Do you have any good methods for sales or for marketing or getting your image out there, getting in front of customers? What did you find worked and what did you find didn't work?
We actually had a big gap in our team. That was sales. To be honest, that's not the job I like, but I have to do. Every entrepreneur have to do it. And you know, sales is not only sales to your customers, but it is to the employee who's coming in, to your investors. So as a CEO, you're constantly selling. And that's why I kind of get very bogged down and I get tired of it. And we had a big hole in our team. We actually plugged that gap a month ago.
Okay,
and we have a brilliant person who joined us, and he's very hands-on. He's fantastic. I'm actually learning a lot from him, because I really needed to. So what works? I think the main thing that works is understanding that what is the problem of your customer and whether you can solve that. As long as your customer has a problem and you're solving their problem to make their life easy, whether in terms of time or money, that kind of clicks.
Yeah, but I always see that for startups, they might be solving a problem, but they're unknown, virtually unknown. You know, they have literally hundreds of untapped customers that just would love to buy from them, presumably if they heard about them, but they just don't know about them. So do you have any marketing techniques that worked for you that like, let's say Facebook ads or something? I don't know if anything. You know,
yeah, it depends on yes. So for startups, the branding is like, if you look at our competitive analysis chart, and the very first one we have is branding. We have nothing, whereas our competition has 3 ticks beside them. You know, you might have the best technology, and even the technology evaluators who has evaluated our competition and our products, they say that, oh my God, your technology is way ahead. But it is very, very difficult as a startup to sell. So I kind of, and social media is a great way of letting people know of your brand. What we did in COVID-19 is we actually used this time to build our brand image. So we tried to help people, giving our platform for free, so that at the moment there's budget freeze and people can't think too much, but there is a requirement for remote solutions. So we said, let's give it for free, let them use it. That gives us user numbers, but also that kind of builds an image. So hoping that after 3 months they will remember. So we are small, people don't know us. So that is a way of working with your brand image. And for startups, people understand that we are small, we can move much quicker. So if you can build that into your value proposition, social media is great, but I don't think we have got any business from social media.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
LinkedIn is extremely expensive.
I know that firsthand. I couldn't believe like the return as well you get in it isn't great. It's not great.
No, I don't mind spending money on something where we will get a return on investment, right? So I was hoping that if LinkedIn is very expensive, it should have a better return on investment, and ours is a B2B sell. So
so you think LinkedIn is perfect, but it's far from it.
Yeah. And also it's very hard to get an expert on to work with you on LinkedIn ads. I found it very difficult. We were looking for somebody, but we couldn't. Facebook ads are really good for B2C though, and I've seen people who has really benefited from that.
Well, again, that wouldn't apply to Empeal, unfortunately.
No,
B2B.
Yeah. If we ever think of B2C, we can do that, but
yeah, exactly.
Not at the moment.
So, the title of this show is "Break Even by Breakfast," and we're kind of using it as an analogy for a business journey. Breakfast time being the point at which your sales and your expenses even out, and you're breaking even. So you're kind of on the upward slope, let's say. With that in mind, is it breakfast time for your business, or is it lunch, or is it dinner?
Hopefully not dinner. I would say, yeah, it's probably the morning coffee.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah. So there's still a whole day ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. We have, as I said, it's if we can survive this, I think Empeal will fly. That's what I'm telling everybody in my team, and I think the team also believes it.
That's good. Yeah. Because that's important that they also have faith, that they know it will work.
Absolutely. Communication within the team is very important.
Yeah.
And I think as an entrepreneur, even before you sell to your customers and investors, you need to sell to your team, because as I say, team building was the biggest challenge I had. We had, in this whole COVID scenario, there was, I don't know whether you heard, there was a huge cyclone in West Bengal in India.
Yes, I did actually hear that.
Yeah. So what happened was our team, I say 3 people in India, our team there, they lost internet connection, they lost telephone connection, no electricity, nothing.
Oh my God.
And they're stuck at home. One of our developers, half of his home got blown away.
Oh my God. Jesus.
And guess
Sorry
what
to hear that.
I know, and we couldn't contact them. It was unbelievable. But guess what he's doing today? He found a shop which had electricity, and they had a back room. So he's there with his laptop connected, but he's using data from his phone to actually work from there.
Wow, that's dedication, I have to say.
Yeah, that's
most of the people would have just given up. They would have said, whatever.
No.
That's good. Fair play to him. And he's...
Absolutely. And everybody else in the team there, I actually have to tell them you need to take off, because it's a well-being company. If you don't take yourself...
of course. You have to sell your own products as well. Make sure it works in your own company, That's great. Well, thanks very much for coming on the show, Sohini, and sharing your experience with us. I found it really interesting and insightful, and I hope our viewers found the same. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon for another episode of Break Even by Breakfast. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mark.